and welcome to Financial Mindfulness, an exclusive webinar on NPS by ICICI Direct. Joining me today is Rahul Goel, Assistant Vice President at NSDL E-Governance Infrastructure Limited. Thank you very much, Rahul, for taking out the time to talk to our viewers today. We're going to be helping our viewers understand about an investment product that recently has gathered quite a bit of attention, and that is NPS I'm talking about, by the Government of India. So let's start by telling our audience what is NPS, why has it become popular, what sort of tax benefits one can avail of, and more importantly, how do you even go about processing all of this? So Rahul, let's get down to the basics. Tell us, what is NPS?
Hi, Samin. Good evening to you, and it's really wonderful that we are catching up financial year closing, and this is the right time when we talk about NPS. So when we say NPS, what I describe NPS, it is a defined contribution-based scheme, which aims to provide a steady return to the individual after retirement, as well as it inculcates the habit of savings to all individuals for their retirement planning. So it broadly allows any individual to accumulate their retirement savings corpus, and which will be used post-retirement for their steady income when the income stops after retirement. So it was initiated by Government of India in 2004 for central government employees. So which if you go to a central government employee who is joined after 2004, so any individual joining government employee are coming under NPS. So they do not have old pension, which we call it a defined benefit system. So NPS is purely a defined contribution system where the individual contributes during his working life, and that contribution is accumulated during their working life, and post-retirement that amount is used for getting the pension. So that is how it is applied to the government, and it is extended to the private citizens from 2009 onward. One more thing I just wanted to add. So if you look at the investment profile of the NPS, so it gives the flexibility to the individual to decide their own investment avenue, the investment scheme through different asset classes, and that's how the fund manager funds manager take decisions and invest the funds and provide net asset value to individuals. So it is unlike other investment retirement savings scheme like EPF and ETF you will think about, where you get an interest. In NPS, you do not get the interest. It is a market linked plan where you get NAV, and that's how you calculate your corpus. So this is about NPS. We'll talk about more on NPS. So when we talk about features, yeah.
Well, of course, just to take a takeaway from that, this is now open to non-government employees in the country as well. Returns we'll get to in a few minutes, but more importantly, talk to me about the benefits and advantages of the scheme. I know and I believe that the returns are much higher than most of the other products that are available in the market. Like you mentioned, this is relatively flexible, it's portable, regulated. So help our viewers understand the key benefits and advantages of NPS.
Samira, you rightly pointed out one of the unique advantage of NPS is the tax benefits. So before tax benefits part, I will briefly talk about few other features and benefits, such as you talk about portability. So when we talk about any retirement instrument which is going to stay for 35 to 40 years, you are coming into the system at the age of 18 and exiting at the age of 65. So it is a quite long duration. So you expect a portability. So it is one of the unique benefit, a feature in NPS is the portability. So come what may, you change your employment, you change your geography. So account remains same. Once the account number is allotted to you, it remains with you wherever you go. So that is the portability which is the unique in NPS. And the second one is the customized investment options. So a subscriber is able to customize their investment. There are 7 fund managers. Subscriber in NPS can choose one of the fund manager and decide how the investment will go. So there are different asset class. When we go into details, so in NPS there are different asset class. We say the asset class as equity, the corporate bonds, and the government security. So individual can decide how much amount will go into equity, the corporate bonds, and the government securities. Here again, the individual has option to change the fund manager as well as the scheme. So he can go from the percentage of equity, the portfolio he can change. So there are certain caps which PFRDA investment guideline talks about, like the investment in equity cannot be more than 75%, and that too when you exceed year 50. So when you exceed 50 years of age, again 75% also cannot be there. So it comes down year on year. Similarly, when we talk about customized investment option, there are different set of investment option also available. So those individuals who are not financially literate, so there are life stage funds which we call auto choice fund. So individuals who are very active and they can decide their own schemes, they can go for active choice, and those individuals who are not very comfortable and who would like the life stage fund, they can go for the auto choice. So their individual can go for life stage. In the life stage fund, the portfolio, it rebalances based on their age, as he attains 36, 37. So likewise, the equity exposure comes down every year of his birth, every birthday. So the third most important part is the additional investment options. So in NPS, we talk about NPS as a pension product, but it also has investment, avenue. So you have a Tier 2 scheme in NPS. So when I call it Tier 2, NPS has twin benefit. One is you have pension account, we call it a Tier 1 account, and you can activate additional account which is a Tier 2 account. When you say both, the Tier 1 will give you the non-withdrawable option, the Tier 2 will give you the withdrawable option. There you can put the money and you can withdraw anytime. So that is the additional thing. The second, the most other part is about the tax benefit, which which everyone, all of us, is thinking about it. So how much the tax benefit is. So one of the tax benefit which most of us all salaried we think about. There are a couple of tax benefits. One is 80CCD1, which caters to instrument under 80C, where you can take exemption up to 1.5. There is another section called 80CCD1B, where this is exclusive for NPS, where you can take advantage of 50,000 rupees exemption. And there is another section which a corporate individual can, if the employer agrees to, the corporate tax benefit, people can take it. That is again, that comes under 80CCD2, where the individual, the corporate who is making contribution on behalf of individual, so that is again up to 10% of basic that tax advantage the individual can get. So in a way, if you look at it, it is a significant gain individual is getting. It is what you save for the tax benefit, you are translating into your investment corpus. So that's how we talk about the tax benefit. The last but not the least is the cost structure. So when we talk about any instrument which is going to stay for 40 years, so more important is the cost part. So when you invest, when there is accumulation phase and then the withdrawal comes, the NPS is considered to be lowest, amongst all pension product across globe. So even you read about IOPS statement, so they say it is the lowest, which is against 17 or some basis point, cost, overall cost. So that's how, when we compare with the other financial products, so it is the lowest in a way.
Rahul, just one quick question on that one. So maintenance fee is nil annually, is that correct?
No, not as such. There are different charges. There are upfront charges and there are some indirect charges. So the maintenance fee, when it comes to the subscriber, there are certain charges.
Okay.
So the maintenance fee is levied by CRA and there are upfront fees which is levied by the POP.
All of it is regulated. Also, help me understand this. Of course, a recommendation would be to hold this up until your retirement age, which is 60. But can one withdraw partially or fully before their retirement age? And what is the taxation on withdrawal? If you can help our viewers understand that as well, it would be amazing. So, one, is it allowed to do a pre-retirement withdrawal, partly or fully, and also if there's any taxation on that front?
So when it comes to withdrawal, of course, individual can withdraw. Although the intention of NPS is not to or discourage any withdrawal. We do not recommend anyone to go for withdrawal, because if you withdraw, it's the entire objective is discouraged. So we do not encourage. So if you intend to withdraw, so there are certain conditions on which you can withdraw partially.
Okay.
So we call that term is a conditional withdrawal. When we say conditional withdrawal, it has certain conditions like, if your child is getting married, if you are going for higher education, there are certain conditions on which you can withdraw up to 25% of your own contribution. Here, when I say own contribution, there are certain organizations who are also making contributions. So employer and employer contribution. Individual can withdraw contribution up to 25% of his own contribution. Secondly, for any withdrawal, there is no tax. In fact, tax impact on it. So I would repeat again here. So we call it a conditional withdrawal, and in conditional withdrawal, people can withdraw, and there are certain conditions. Up to 25% withdrawal is allowed. However, there are certain other factors. Before you initiate a withdrawal, you have to stay in NPS for at least 3 years, and maximum 3 times you can withdraw from using this function. I mean, there is no tax application, on this, tax implication on this. Further, to add to your, answer to your question related to withdrawals, NPS is triple E, exempt, and exempt. So in all 3 stages of investment, NPS is exempted. When you invest, there are exemptions, what we talked about, then during the accumulation phase, and at the time of withdrawal it is exempted. So the tax, there is zero tax applicability at the time of withdrawal.
Rahul, you mentioned that one condition you can withdraw your NPS prior to retirement was your children's education. Taking a cue from that, can you invest on behalf of your partner, or rather open an NPS account on behalf of your partner or children, or this is going to be more self-satiated in that sense?
It is a voluntary account, so I cannot open on behalf of anyone. So it is NPS is applicable for all individuals from 18 to 65 years. So any individual can open. If I am a parent, then I would help my child to open if he attains 18. And I would definitely recommend any individual. It would be a beautiful gift for by a parent to a child when he turns 18. So definitely recommend people to go for their child gift. So that is 18 years.
Encourage your partner and children, and just don't do it on their behalf. Is what you're saying, right?
Absolutely.
Also, talking about how this is a highly advisable investment product, give us a sense about the limit. So is it a minimum amount that one can invest annually? Is it a ceiling? Is it a maximum amount one can invest into NPS? Help our viewers understand that.
Yes, surely. Actually, NPS has one of the unique advantage that it does not have any upper ceiling.
Oh, wow.
And however, there is a minimum requirement. You can invest minimum 500 rupees, but there is no upper ceiling. On top of it, I just want to add that you do not have any frequency limitation also. You can You can make contribution every month once or multiple times in a month. There is no limitations. So that's how it is quite flexible.
So while it's flexible in terms of how often you can invest, what if you lose your job or there's a blip or there are other responsibilities you got to fulfill in a certain year? So can you also pause your investments through that course of the year? So can you take a break in a certain month or a certain year and come back to it?
Yes, of course. So that's how we understand NPS has achieved a greater success, that it allows an individual that to maintain a lower account balance. So when I say lower account balance, it is the minimum account contribution in a year is fixed as 1,000 rupees as of now. So an individual who is not able to contribute in a year, so minimum 1,000 rupees contribution is required. But nonetheless, it does not mean that your account is forfeited, your balance is has been controlled by anyone. The account remains yours and you have full right. So no matter account is partially controlled or freeze, so you can activate your account by making 1,000 rupees, again another contribution. So whenever you wish. Coming to your change of job, so it does happen. It again relates to my portability question. So if someone is changing the job, so the account continues with the subscriber. So it might be possible for sometime individual is not able to contribute. So of course it is, there is, as I mentioned, there is no minimum tenure or frequency defined over here. So whenever you will, you need, so you can start investing.
Right. I'm going to try and sneak in one more quick question before we run out of time. But there's a lot of talk about tier 2 accounts in NPS. Can you very quickly tell us what these tier 2 accounts and how can one go about opening a tier 2 account in NPS?
It's really very interesting, question. We all know that we salaried class. There are most of us. We are all scared about thinking about stock market and all.
Yeah.
So giving flexibility. Giving flexibility to individual in NPS allows individual for investment account also. We call it a tier 2 account. So one of the thing is to have a tier 2 account, you need to have a tier 1 account as well. So if you have tier 1 account, you can activate tier 2 account. So in tier 2 account, it intends to give you an opportunity where you can invest your money for a short-term need. So how it is like that? So I give you an example. Let's say I have certain savings and I have got savings around 1 lakh rupees. And because NPS tier 1 account has certain restrictions of withdrawal, I do not see that I can invest, and maybe I foresee some requirement in short term. Then I may like to put the money in tier 2 account, and when time comes, I will withdraw. So tier 2 allows you to withdraw 100% of your investment. There is no restriction as such for withdrawals. So that is one of the beautiful advantage in tier 2. So you can use tier 2 account for parking your investment for short term as well as for short term, long term. When I say long term, because the similar scheme what is there in tier 1, the tier 2 has it. So you can maintain the similar fund managers and schemes in tier 2, and you can park your money. So if you feel that I no longer require for withdrawal, you have an option in tier 2 that you can divert funds from tier 2 to tier 1. We call it just one-way switch. So at the end of the year, when you see that 1 lakh rupees which I had put, I do not need this money. So you can switch this funds from tier 2 to tier 1 for the tax exemption. That's why generally people take advantage of it.
Wow, thank you, Rahul. This helped us understand more about NPS. This truly is an investment product that is highly recommended. The advantages very obviously outweigh any sort of disadvantages that one has. A great retirement planning investment vehicle. Thank you very much, Rahul. It was great talking to you. Thank you for the perspective. Hopefully, we've helped our viewers make those important tax planning decisions as we close out the financial year. Have a good day and speak soon. Thank you.